basically did a big order of odds and ends that I needed. Kind of a weird arrangement of stuff. For example, this lovely insulated foil container. I'm probably not going to put in overlays for the part numbers and stuff, so I'll just try and get a shot of the Digi-Key tag on everything. And I think I need scissors for this. Very warm gel pack. I got some no clean solder paste from Chip Quick because that was like the cheapest one they had. Leaded, of course. So yeah, I don't have any just bulk pure paste in a container. I have it in the squirt bottles, the Lure Lock ones, but I didn't have any in the just plain container for when I have to do some SMD work. I also got 2 boxes. There's the part information. These are fairly cheap. I think they're only a couple bucks each, like $4 or $5 each. Let me take a look at these guys. That's not bad. They have little guides for PCBs on both directions. Comes with screws. Nice tight fitting lid. That might work. See, one of the reasons why I'm looking at different boxes is because I just got one of these Reload 2s from Arachnid Labs, and the problem with these things is that the heatsink just can't handle what it's capable of. Like if I set this to just to put out 3 amps with basically any load, it just hits thermal protection and shuts off. So it really needs a fan. So I was thinking of getting a case of some type where I could mount a fan and then have, it doesn't necessarily have to be on the board. I didn't even solder in the heatsink yet just because I figured this might be separate and freestanding. But basically have a setup where I can have a panel meter and some connections on the top and a 10-turn pot. This comes with this terrible single turn 10K pot. So I looked in my container of variable resistors and I find that I have a single 10-turn pot and it happens to be 10K. This is from, I believe, the very first video. This I think is from the satellite signal strength meter teardown, but it works just great. 10 turns, and all I did for this was just solder the connections on and put a little 3-pin connector on, just like a computer fan, and I put in the receptacle on the board instead of the pot. So you can just plug in, and this can be mounted anywhere you need it, and it keeps it nice and modular. Before I forget, I should probably fix this, how the little tabs touching the current sense resistor. Don't want that. But anyway, I want to keep this as unmodified as possible, so I can always just go back to this design if I want, if I don't want to keep it in the case, or if I want to make any other changes to it. I was also considering, digital control, that kind of stuff, but that's for another day. So, as I said, I got 2 of these. I also got a big bag of bags. These are larger static-proof bags. I've got another set of smaller ones that I've been using for all the resistors and stuff that I've got from those big lots of parts. So, can't have too many anti-static bags. They're always useful. Oh, and I got another box from Hammond, the major players in the project box industry. This is a slightly shorter box. Well, it's taller, but sorry, it's just more square. Oh, this has screws for an internal PCB mounting. It also has little slots for it. So that's another potential one. I was looking for boxes that were 40 millimeters or taller, so that I could put in a 40 millimeter fan and just have like a straight through airflow for the dummy load. So this is the largest bag Digi-Key has ever sent me. Get this out of here. I'm going to have to edit this video using my PC, my Windows PC, because my Hackintosh, which featured in several previous videos, for some reason won't boot. It was starting up, and it was going into, it was kernel panicking, saying that there was a problem with the HPT, which is the high precision event timer. And I don't know why it would be coming up with that unless it updated something and there's an issue with the Apple CPU power management extension. So I went, what the hell, I'll restart and I'll boot off a USB stick. So I reboot. It doesn't come on. It just sits there with the fan running. It never shows anything on the screen. I don't hear it accessing or anything. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I did have a problem with the USB port recently. I used an AB switch, and when I switched to it, the mouse and keyboard wouldn't work. They had no power, and I just could not get it to work again. And I verified that the switch works on both channels, but I just couldn't get it to work. So I had to plug it into a different USB port. So it's possible there was some kind of surge, or it didn't contact properly and just created some kind of weird ground loop or something that fried it. One of the ports at least. So I don't know. I may have to finally switch to Mac or Windows for video editing. Although, anyway. So this one is a Max 5481, which is a 10-bit digital pot, and I wasn't sure if I was, I was still considering the digital approach to the dummy load. So I was going to get. I got a couple of these just to give it a try, see what it was like, but yeah, they're little, look like 10-pin devices, maybe more, maybe 12-pin. Oh, 14-pin, sorry. Anyway, yeah, so I thought I'd give these a try, but they're probably just going to sit in the bin for a little while until I figure out something to do with them. I got some new solder wick. I got some wide stuff because I didn't have any of the really wide stuff. There should be another one in here. Oh well, we'll find it. So solder wick's really good. I like that brand. Bubble wrap, really? One of the things about the project I am working on, the secret mystery project, which isn't as interesting as I'm making it sound, is these are kind of tough to trigger. I wanted a way to just connect bare leads to it, and I wanted a way that I could just do it on the PCB without like banana plugs or anything like that. So I'm taking a look at these different terminal blocks. That one's kind of interesting, but like I said, it's fairly hard to use and doesn't look like they actually join together. Even a lot of these join together, but this one definitely does not. Maybe you have to get like a male and a female one or something. Part number if I didn't show it. And another terminal block. Well, these look kind of cool. Push down buttons. That could work. A lot of these were fairly cheap. Some of them kind of, they seemed overpriced for what they were, but only time will tell. I got a couple different values for current shunt resistors, so I do have another one here somewhere, I believe. Maybe oh no, here we go. So this is 0.05 ohm, this is 0.02 ohm. I already have some 0.01 ohm ones. So I got those for experimentation when with dealing with the current sense, which is part of the current project. Some more terminal blocks. Well, these are very big. They look kind of strange, don't they? Like, why do they have this, like, lip on the back? Oh, and they push down and, like, lock. And you have to pull. Oh, okay, so you have to pull them back up. That's annoying. That's not what I want. I want, like, a quick release. These are, like, you know, put it in and it wedges down and then you can't take it back out until you pry it up with a screwdriver. That's no good for what I'm doing. I'm sure I'll find a use for them at some point, though. These were some of the more much cheaper terminal blocks. So I got a whole bunch of these. These are blue. Yeah, they're okay. They don't really have much of a push to them. But yeah, I was able to get a whole bunch of these for like a couple bucks. So what the hell? I've got these guys and these guys, which are basically the same thing. They might be slightly different sizes. I didn't really check too much. I was just basically buying random ones just to try them out. This is the I think this is the cheapest one that I found, and they're red and white, which is good because I'd be using a positive and negative connection to this device. And these ones should actually connect. I think you can pry this last little panel off, and then they stick together and make sets. But I wouldn't need more than one pair of inputs, so that's not a big deal. And did I get to these already? I can't remember if I got to these already. A lot of them look very similar. These are just another terminal block. No, I don't think I did get to these. Hang on. Let's take a look. Yeah, these have the same push down action, and it looks like, yeah, you can like pry off this end piece to make an extended one. Yeah, they're just a different variant. What else we got here? Oh, there's a fan. I didn't have any 40mm fans that were very thin. I have a lot of the thicker ones used in servers, and they're also very loud. So I figured, what the hell, I'll spend a few bucks, get a nice 40mm by 10mm fan, and give this guy a shot. I don't know how loud this is going to be, but it's from Orion, I believe. Yep, Orion fans. Never heard of them before, but I'm sure they're reasonably capable. They had a 5-volt model that was double the price. So I was planning on running the internals, like the panel meter and stuff, off like a 5-volt supply. But I think a lot of panel meters need like 6 volts or something or higher. But I have a couple coming, so there'll be some experimentation. But until then, I figured, what the hell, I'll just run everything off 12. This is another terminal block. These are kind of interesting looking. So they plug in this way, and then does this pull back? Oh no, it's like a lever action. That's kind of cool. I mean, they're kind of hard to press. I want something that's like a quick release, but I don't think I probably won't find that in a terminal block. So maybe I'm just hoping for too much with terminal blocks. But here's the other set of solder wick, slightly thinner, and some big relays that I believe are supported by fritzing the footprint. I mean, the sizing may be a little off, so I may have to do like a custom thing on these. But these are pretty chunky relays. As you can see, they are capable of 8 amps, which is hard to find. It's hard to find over like 2 or 3 amps with most designs, unless you start getting to the really big chunky ones. So 5 amps in one of these smaller packages looks like it's exactly what I need, although they are very tall, so I might run into an issue. Because on the board, to save space, I was planning on mounting them underneath, inverted, but I think I can actually get away with mounting them up top because I don't want to show too much of the board yet to maintain the pointless levels of secrecy. But I was going to use one of these displays. This is a color display. Here's a little info thing. SPI display, 128 pixels, and it is color. It's 1.44 inches. So my plan was to have these inverted underneath it on the PCB to save space. I could just put some capped on tape to just keep it from shorting out to anything. But I might just run a cable up to this and put this into a case. That way I can have these sticking up. So I haven't completely decided. Or I could even put like a riser on it. That could work. Like just get some extended pins like those Arduino pins and just run it up like that. That might be what I'm going to do actually. I kind of like that. Anyway, I'll figure that out when the time comes. But yeah, these were fairly pricey, I think. These were about $3 or $4 a piece. But like I said, it was like literally the only design or the only part that met my requirements. And lastly, because they were so cheap, I got 100 fuse holders. Again, they were just so cheap, I just went, what the hell? Like, it was like $6 or something, $7 for 100 of them. And I figured, what the hell, that'll last me forever. And it wasn't much more than getting like 50 because of the pricing discounts. Another thing I've got to do today before I try and get this Hackintosh working is finish organizing my drawers. I just got another set and I've been labeling and organizing stuff, and as you can see, I've just thrown a whole bunch of stuff on top of them while I try and figure out what to do with everything. So that's going to take a while too. Don't worry, there will be a future video where I go through all the drawers, but that'll have to wait for me to finish organizing them all.